What's going through your mind right now?
Well, I can't even, I don't know, I can't think. 90 years waiting for a sister, are you kidding?
A Missouri woman well into her golden years just learned that she has something new to celebrate at nearly 90 years old.
Yeah, listen to this. Mary Wise wanted to learn more about her family history, so she did a little bit of digging and find out she has a sister who's 4 years younger that she had never seen before. How about that? Her name is Joyce Wagner. She lives in Oregon, and Megan Dillard has the story.
Passengers standing around, checking flight times, walking through the terminal. There was no one more excited about an arrival than this family. A warm welcome, an anxious wave.
There she comes.
Mary waits for someone special to come through the gate. While a crowd watches this unforgettable moment, Mary stretches out her arms.
Don't you fall.
With an old familiarity. Though these two sisters have never met.
90 long years.
Mary's mother gave her up for adoption when she was born in 1928.
Sweetheart, you.
That's all she knew of her biological family until she got on Ancestry.com this past June.
Oh, you look just like our mama.
Oh, I do?
Oh, you sure as world do.
It eventually led her to her baby sister, 85-year-old Joyce. It's a meeting shared not just by these two, but one that connects two long-lost families. A circle of cousins, mothers, daughters.
Hello, Mary. I'm Linda.
Oh, I love you guys.
Kisses and hugs, the most genuine of warm embraces. And two sisters
She said I look like your mom.
who have 90 years of catching up to do.
That is awesome. That's how we'll finish today, first at 4.
Live at 5 starts right now.
Here's what we're working on for Fox 59 News Live at 5.
The rain has eased up, the temperatures have taken a dive, but the threat for rain will return. Trick-or-treating isn't all that bad this evening, but it will turn wet again. A new storm system arrives. I'll tell you when coming up.
A community mourning the loss of these 3 children after they were hit and killed getting on their bus. What's being done now so other families don't have to go through this?
2 drugs responsible for thousands of the deaths throughout the state last year. What's being done to keep them away from future generations?
Early voters flooding to polls before next week's election, why you might not want to wait till the last minute to cast your ballot.
From Indiana's #1 news source, this is Fox 59 Live at 5.
And right now, live at 5, it is the one thing everyone's talking about right now. Your Halloween forecasts, a rather wet evening for most of you.
Yeah, you can see here on Live Guardian radar with those showers popping up and a really cloudy day out there for us. So if you're going to head out, be mindful you may need to bring maybe some rain boots and an umbrella along. Good evening to you. I'm Tanae Howard in for Dan Spieler tonight.
And I'm Fanchen Stinger. Thanks so much for joining us. Let's get you right over to the Weather Authority Chief Meteorologist Brian Wilkes. So Brian, a lot of ghosts and goblins wondering what to expect.
That's right. A little jacket probably required as the temperatures have lowered, and perhaps even having a umbrella nearby. But for the most part, it's more damp and drizzly than it is rainy. The showers have thinned down as promised. There will be a threat for a couple of rain showers to increase from south to north this evening. But for trick-or-treaters, as we promised you last night, we thought it would hold out. It certainly has set the mood here with the cloud cover and damp conditions. It's the rainiest Halloween we've had in 3 years, and the warmest one, believe it or not, since 2008 when the temperature reached 71 degrees. We were actually 67 early on in the day, but the temperatures have been falling. The front has pushed just far enough south that the rains have become very light, if not have come to an end. But as we expand the view, those rains will assemble over southern Indiana and begin to creep north again as the night progresses. That rain threat is going up. The temperatures have gone down. We're at 50 in some locations on a north wind. Remember, the morning temperatures were in the upper 60s yesterday. Several locations hit 70. That's a 17 to as much as 20-degree temperature change from the same time on Tuesday. This is Fox Futurecast, and look how the rains begin to move north and become steady, if not even heavy, before midnight, right into the morning commute on Thursday. We're going to start off the month of November rather damp and dreary. But for the rest of the evening, we're holding the rain off. It'll be damp and foggy with some patchy light rain. For your Halloween forecast, the rain creeps in. Howling winds will blow on Thursday and a rather dreary open to November. I'll let you know when we'll see weather that improves coming up in a few minutes.
All right, Brian, thank you. Know how to dress your little ghouls and goblins before you head out trick-or-treating with our free Weather Authority app. You can track any rain showers with Live Guardian radar, get severe weather alerts sent right to your phone, and see the latest forecast. We want you to have the best Halloween possible.
And we continue to follow this heartbreaking story tonight. The latest now on the bus stop crash that killed 3 young siblings and injured a 4th child in Rochester. We've now learned starting tomorrow that bus stop will be moved to another location. Investigators from the National Transportation Safety Board started work today. A pickup truck hit the children as they crossed the road to board their school bus yesterday morning. The bus's stop arm was down at the time. Alyssa Shepard, the woman police say was behind the wheel, faces 3 counts of reckless homicide. Xavier and Mason Engel, twins, and their sister Olivia Stahl all died at the scene. Another child, Maverick Lowe, is recovering at a Fort Wayne hospital. Today, his parents said he's in stable condition and thanked everyone for their prayers.
We are also learning this evening this tragedy is now pushing lawmakers to call for change. Some legislators want cameras to be added to school buses, hoping to bust drivers for violating the stop arms. Bills have been introduced, you may remember, over the last few years, but none of those bills have passed. State Representative Ed Delaney, that is, co-authored legislation in 2015 that would have opened the door for more schools to add cameras on buses. Some were concerned about privacy. Others thought communities would use this as a fundraising tool. The tragedy in Rochester now making lawmakers take a pause, and now some want that idea back on the table.
It's only right that we learn from accidents. It's just the price is way too high. This is shocking.
Lebanon Community School Corporation voluntarily added cameras to all 39 of its buses. It cost them nearly $44,000 to do it. They say it is money well spent. And heads up, we are less than a week away from the midterm election, and several counties are now reporting a huge increase in early voting numbers.
In Johnson County, there's been more than double the number of 2014 midterm voters. Election officials say this turnout has taken them by surprise, and they've had their tweak in their plans because of it.
That's right. Fox 59's Gabby Gonzalez actually takes us to one of those locations where people are even waiting in line. Gabby.
Well, nearly 10,000 people have already voted early here in Johnson County, and crowds have been quickly filing through here in the basement of the courthouse as these volunteers remain very busy. At lunchtime, the line to vote at the Johnson County Courthouse stretched down a hallway just steps from the door.
It's been overwhelming. It's been overwhelming.
Susie Mesnick has served as county clerk for 8 years and says this is the most people she's seen voting early, a process that started back on October 10th.
We've had a crowd since then. It's been every day.
We talked to one voter who said this was his second attempt at voting early because there was a 2-hour wait in Greenwood on Saturday.
I wasn't going to wait for 2 hours on a Saturday. Just beat the lines and be proactive about it. It's my first time voting, just wanted to do it first.
A lot more people than I thought, to be honest. A lot more people have been early voting. A lot more people voting in general.
The numbers are in line with their experiences. In the 2014 midterms, a total of 3,870 people voted early in person. So far in 2018, they've had 9,905 early voters.
We have put additional voting machines in numerous locations. We've added people to work in those locations. We're happy that people have decided finally to get out and have a voice in our process.
And while many encountered a larger crowd than they anticipated, they tell us they're glad they can cast their ballot ahead of Election Day.
I think it's great that early voting is an option. I think it's purely a matter of convenience.
And there are 5 locations where you can vote early in the upcoming days. We've got a full list on our website. Reporting in Johnson County, I'm Gabby Gonzalez. Back to you.
All right, Gabby, thank you. And remember, you have less than a week to vote early in this year's midterm election. We have all of the information you need on our website, including locations of voting centers and times when they're open. Just head to fox59.com and search early voting.
We saw them on the stage last night for their final debate, but neither Mike Braun nor Joe Donnelly slowing down after that debate last night. So this morning in Indianapolis, Braun met with medical professionals at Ortho Indy. The topic, healthcare and insurance costs, both big topics for voters from either party. This afternoon, Donnelly met with veterans and service members at the Fort Benjamin Harrison Veterans Center. He was joined by former Republican Senator and Secretary of Defense Chuck Hagel, who endorsed Donnelly. The topic there, the importance of mental health care for veterans.
We're going to finish hard into next Tuesday. I'm out every day meeting and greeting, talking about my ideas.
Just working nonstop to meet with voters, to talk to them, to have a chance to shake their hands and to work hard to earn their vote.
Polls show both Donnelly and Braun still within the margin of error. Libertarian candidate Lucy Brenton is also running for that Senate seat.
Also this morning, Senator Donnelly responding to the controversy surrounding an answer he gave during last night's debate. The moderator asked Donnelly a question from the State Debate Commission. That question was, quote, "If elected, how will you commit to bringing diversity into your leadership and senior staffing, including women, African American, and other underrepresented groups?" This was his response.
We want everybody to have a chance in Indiana and in America, and my offices reflect that, both on the campaign side and on the Senate side. Our state director is Indian American, but he does an amazing job. Our director of all constituent services, she's African American, but she does an even more incredible job than you could ever imagine. It isn't their race or their religion, it's the incredible person that they are, but at the same time, they have to have a chance. They have to have an opportunity. And that's my responsibility. And I've done it in every office I've had, and I've done it in every campaign I've had, because my campaigns and our Senate office should reflect the face of Indiana.
Donnelly says he simply misspoke, and his campaign issued a statement making that known. He also said this to us at an event with veterans this afternoon. Watch.
I misspoke. I meant to say and said but. My diversity of the office has been a complete commitment of mine. It's part of my life's work, and the record speaks for itself. And I'm incredibly blessed to have the people who work for me, and they do an amazing job.
Indiana State GOP party leaders now calling on Donnelly to apologize for those comments.
Former President Barack Obama will head to the Hoosier State this weekend to hold a campaign rally for Senator Joe Donnelly. It's happening Sunday at the Genesis Convention Center in Gary. The rally is free, but tickets are required. Obama's visit comes amid two scheduled visits to Indiana by President Donald Trump, one on Friday and the other next Monday.
A vacant former church catches fire this morning. Now the fire department wants your help.
The fire happened on 16th Street on the city's near northwest side, and IFD says it appears squatters tried to build a fire.
Fox 59's Brett Cass actually joining us in studio right now to tell us what you can do to help. Hi, Brett.
Hey there, Fanch. Yeah, it didn't take long for firefighters to realize the fire was caused by a warming fire that just got out of control, a problem that may soon get worse. IFD says with the colder weather coming, they will expect more calls of fires caused by squatters simply trying to stay warm. And those calls are very dangerous for the community and first responders.
People can get in and out of the structure, they can take pieces and parts out of the structure, they can build fires inside of it, and even if that fire doesn't get out of control, it can create large holes in the floor, it can create structural integrity issues.
And while the city is working to demolish or rebuild thousands of vacant homes, there are still plenty that remain. IFD asks that if you live near vacant homes or buildings, keep an eye out and report squatters to police so they can direct them to get the resources that they need. Reporting in the studio, Brett Cast, Fox 59 News.
Well, Indy's Old South Side neighborhood will now get a major boost. It's been named as the second Lift Indy investment recipient. Starting last year, the Community Development Program chooses one neighborhood a year through a data-driven process. Old South Side will receive $4 million from 2 federal grants over the next 3 years. This money will be used for revitalization efforts through community-driven projects. Lift Indy also provides affordable home ownership opportunities through this initiative. Last year, Monon 16, you may remember, it was named the first Lift Indy recipient.
2 drugs responsible for the deaths of over 14,000 Hoosiers last year.
What's being done to educate the public so you don't become another statistic?
New information tonight in the death of journalist Jamal Khashoggi, what Turkish prosecutors are admitting for the first time.
And tonight is not all candy and costumes. Oh no, Halloween is also one of the most dangerous nights of the year. How you and your children can stay safe and also have a happy holiday.
Here's what's coming up next at 5:30.
Construction zones on Interstate 69 will soon be closing up when you can expect to drive a little faster again. Let's get you with a live look out there right now on this rainy, dreary Halloween evening drive. This is on I-465 near Keystone Avenue. You can see the traffic moving a little bit slow there, especially on the right-hand side of your screen. They're at a stop right now.
Yeah, it is a slow start to the evening rush. NDOT tweeting just a little bit ago, expect delays in this area for at least the next half hour. All of this because of the heavy traffic. Again, this is I-465. You're looking at the area near Keystone exit. This is on the city's north side. A slow go. If you're expecting anyone home and they're in this, they're going to be late for dinner.
Well, hey guys, just last month we uncovered that nearly 1 in every 4 Hoosiers in central Indiana has medical debt in collections.
Yeah, it's a big problem, and right now Fox 59 is stepping in. That's why Fox 59 is teaming up with RIP Medical Debt to pay off almost $1.5 million in debt. If you're chosen, you will get a white envelope in the mail very soon telling you about this. Inside that envelope, a letter from RIP Medical Debt telling you that Fox 59 has helped pay off at least some, possibly all of your debt. This could be a game changer for so many families. And if you do get this envelope, please call us immediately. We would love to hear about your good news.
All right, so a lot of us getting prepared to go out for trick-or-treating. It is almost that time. So if your community didn't move trick-or-treating around, you're gonna, go hardcore. Go all out. Get the little jacket, rain jacket. It's your time.
I have a feeling the rain and the little cool temperature is not going to stop some of those little ghosts and goblins from going out, Brian. They're going to be out there getting their candy.
That's right. Not when Charleston Chews are available for free. Does anybody even eat Charleston Chews anymore? Gabby's like,
It's been a long time since I had a Charleston Chew.
Are those the peanut ones?
No, Charleston Chew is just like a gummy, caramely. I used to always get it with a Slurpee at 7-Eleven.
What was your least favorite one? Was Charleston Chews one of them?
Milky Way.
Really?
Those candy corns are my
Okay,
least favorite.
candy corn, okay.
They didn't taste.
I like having these conversations. I don't know why. I didn't like those sour candies of the sweet tarts. Is that what they were? I don't remember. Anyway, happy Halloween. Isn't this a beautiful setting here? This is over Brown County, their leaf camera. The murkiness is there. It's a Halloween setting that's absolutely perfect. And fortunately, the rains have eased up as we expected they would, and allowing a lot of the little trick-or-treaters to get out and do their thing this evening. Though the temperatures have dropped and it's damp underfoot, the rain that fell this morning has eased up. We had a 1/4 inch of rain in Indianapolis, and look at Bloomington at over 1 inch. There are some areas of patchy light rain down towards Bedford and Seymour at this hour, Columbus, Bloomington, and most of this is going to stay out of the picture for the next couple of hours for the trick-or-treaters. But as we move toward midnight, this is going to fill in again, and the rains are going to ramp up as an area of low pressure rides up the front that passed the area early this morning. And if you were fortunate enough to be out early this morning, you felt temperatures still in the 60s. This is the warmest Halloween we've had in a few years. We actually topped out at 67 degrees a little after 4 in the morning. The rest of the evening, the rain will be very light, if not just patchy, at least through 7 o'clock. 8, 9 o'clock, the rain chances are on the rise again as the threat of rain moves up from the south. The temperatures around central Indiana have lowered now into the lower 50s. In fact, only 50 degrees at this hour in Crawfordsville, 53 in Spencer. These numbers have pulled back considerably from the 67 that occurred earlier in the morning, but that 67 makes this the warmest Halloween since 2008, 10 years. North wind is blowing, the temperature has dropped to 53, and look at the change from 24 hours ago, as much as 20 degrees cooler. These north winds will eventually turn east, so we've got a colder wind blowing, damp conditions, even some fog. Visibility has been cut. The winds are going to tighten up as the storm system approaches from the south tonight, and the winds will howl later tonight and throughout the day on Thursday. Rainfall likely to be quite heavy over parts of central and south central Indiana. So flood watches have been issued. This is for runoff of rain, high water, standing water, especially in those low-lying areas and areas near creeks and rivers and streams. The rainfall total by midnight Friday is likely to push upwards of 2.5 inches, if not even higher in some spots. Through daybreak, we've picked up an inch of rain. Folks, this is going to be an awfully wet morning commute. If you've got plans to travel tomorrow morning, give yourself extra time. The rain will continue to fall rather steadily into Thursday evening. And look at this, by midnight Friday into Friday morning, we've got some healthy rainfall totals, specifically over south central and southeast central Indiana. Bedford, Brownstown, even over to Seymour and North Vernon could be approaching 3-inch totals. It's going to be a very steady, very heavy rain, and it will be a wind-driven rain at times as well. We could have winds up around 35 miles per hour as we start the month of November with this storm system. It will ease up come Friday. The rain chances will lower, and we'll at least get into the weekend with some improved weather. But the rain will continue to creep north again by midnight. It'll be damp and dreary and much cooler too. That stiff east-northeast wind will be blowing tomorrow, at times up over 30 miles per hour. A cool and rainy day at 48 for a high. Temperatures remain cool to finish off the work week, but we will dry out by Friday evening. Saturday will start with some sunshine and a high around 50 degrees. Breezy and warmer Sunday at 59, but a chance for showers and even a thunderstorm into the evening. Monday, rain will return again late, and the storm system that hits on Election Day could pack more rain, more wind, a chance for thunderstorms and some heavy rainfall totals with a high up to 66. Will turn sharply cooler again by Wednesday.
Memorial services will continue throughout the week for the victims of the synagogue shootings in Pittsburgh.
U.S. attorneys saying today the process of seeking justice has begun.
And updates to Interstate 69 are finishing up, which means no more construction zones. Words we like to hear when you can expect your drive to speed back up.
And a second grader making some big changes in her town. The idea she had to make Halloween an even bigger holiday. We'll show you.
14,200 people. That's the number of Hoosiers who died last year from drugs and tobacco.
That is according to the Richard M. Fairbanks Foundation, which says most of those deaths came from smoking and secondhand smoke.
As Randy Spieth shows us, leaders working to curb the problem say they're not surprised by the numbers and hope it gets better.
For the fourth straight year, the number of Hoosiers dying from opioid overdoses has grown, killing more than 1,100 Hoosiers in 2017.
Unfortunately, it was not a surprise when I saw the figures.
A number that's 7 times higher, Hoosiers killed by tobacco products. It claimed the lives of more than 12,000 Hoosiers.
I've been doing tobacco treatment for 21 years, and all 21 years, Indiana's always been in the top 10 highest smoking adult prevalence.
That ranking hasn't changed.
It's hard for me to sort of pinpoint why Indiana would continue to struggle in both of these areas so much. There's a part of me that says some of it still has to be education.
It's not something you can just put down and walk away from. People need professional assistance to quit smoking. It's like any other addiction.
This tobacco treatment specialist wants to see more funding to help Hoosiers stop smoking. Funding like the battle with opioids is getting. $25 million from the federal government is coming to the state, mostly to increase access to treatment and recovery. At Drug Free Marion County, Executive Director Randy Miller says fentanyl is leading the way in overdoses.
That's sort of the new trend that's hitting the streets, is more and more of stuff with fentanyl in it, which is much more potent and much more deadly.
While tobacco usage hasn't seen a dip since 2013, early reports for 2018 in Marion County show overdoses may be starting to go down. Even if that's true, leaders say there's more to the issue than the numbers and hope more can be done.
Even if we turn the corner on overdose deaths, which is a great thing, less people are dying, that doesn't factor in the amount of folks whose lives are still being ruined, either by opiates or some other drugs.
Randy Spieth, Fox 59 News.
The suspect in the Pittsburgh synagogue massacre has now been indicted by a federal grand jury. Robert Bowers is now charged with 44 counts, including hate crimes. Federal prosecutors previously said they plan to seek the death penalty in this case. Authorities say Bowers opened fire in the Tree of Life synagogue on Saturday. 11 people died, 6 others were wounded, including 4 police officers. Vice President Mike Pence addressed the shooting while campaigning for a GOP candidate in Ohio today.
As President Trump and I have made clear, what happened was not just criminal, it was evil, and we will never allow violence or anti-Semitism to take hold in the United States of America.
Bowers is jailed this evening without bail. A preliminary hearing is scheduled for tomorrow. The funerals for the victims are continuing through the rest of the week.
Well, some startling new details tonight on the death of Saudi journalist Jamal Khashoggi. A Turkish prosecutor says the Indiana State grad was strangled as soon as he entered the Saudi consulate in Istanbul. Officials say it was part of a premeditated killing and his body was dismembered and disposed of. The statement is the first public confirmation by a Turkish official that Khashoggi was strangled and dismembered. You see him walking into the consulate there. Officials say he entered on October 2nd to collect paperwork needed to marry his Turkish wife. Well, after several delays, work is almost complete on Interstate 69.
Yeah, the good news for all of you who are tired of seeing this work zone and those speed limits.
You can expect to see plenty of different outfits tonight as the kids head out trick-or-treating, but today was a treat for the dogs too. Who took home the biggest bone in the costume contest?
From Indiana's #1 news source, this is Fox 59 Live at 5.
Right now, live at 5, we are following the raining conditions throughout central Indiana. The wet weather could put a little bit of a damper on your trick-or-treating.
Yeah, here is a live look at Live Guardian radar, as well as some shots from downtown earlier today. So the north side of the city should remain dry tonight, but the south side, that might be a different story.
Yeah, for more on tonight's trick-or-treating forecast, let's check in with the Weather Authority Chief Meteorologist Brian Wiltz. Hi, Brian.
Fanchon today. Good evening and happy Halloween to you both and you folks at home. As we promised, we thought that the rain would ease up just in time for the trick-or-treaters, and we're still holding on in many locations to dry conditions, but a little damp and a little wet underfoot. We'll take you up to Conner Prairie. You know, all month long they've been celebrating the Headless Horseman. We've got a gorgeous evening for you trick-or-treaters in terms of the setting. It's damp and it's dreary. The rain isn't really falling. It was falling rather hard early this morning, and the temperatures have cooled as well. Not completely out of the ordinary, and remarkably, it was the warmest Halloween we had here in 10 years, but that high temperature occurred around 4 o'clock in the morning. The setting is there. We've got the cloudy conditions. Some rain showers are patchy and light as you get into Brown and Bartholomew County, Lawrence and Jennings counties, and Jackson as well. The front has settled south. The clouds are with us, and certainly the temperatures have taken a hit, cooling off rather sharply since early this morning. But look at the rains that are gathering in southern Illinois and southern Indiana. That will spread north through the rest of the night. Temperatures are holding steady right around 52 degrees. North wind is cool enough that it's produced as big as a 20-degree temperature change from yesterday, and we are likely to see those rains really take over the area here by midnight and become steady, if not even heavy, overnight. We've got a very wet open to the month of November. So for the trick-or-treaters, the rain is really holding off. It'll be mainly foggy and damp with temperatures right around 50 degrees, but the rain will creep in again by midnight. Howling winds arrive on Thursday. The Witch of November, as it's referred to, those powerful winds that blow when storm systems blow through in November. And it's a rather dreary open to November as well. We'll talk about those rainfall totals that could be quite heavy coming up in my full forecast in just a few minutes.
We will see you then, Brian. Thank you. With plenty of rain in the forecast, like Brian just said, you might want to check out our list of trick-or-treat times for your convenience. There have been some changes because of the weather. Some counties are even pushing the holiday celebration to tomorrow. The schedule is posted on our website, fox59.com/trick-or-treat. Make sure you check it before you head out.
Hey drivers, get excited. We are. It is about time to get back up to speed on Interstate 69.
That's right. Couldn't come fast enough. INDOT officials telling us today the section between Martinsville and Bloomington is, quote, substantially complete. In the next week, work zone speed limits will be lifted and you will be able to go 70 miles per hour on that new stretch of interstate.
As Fox 59's Zach Myers reports, drivers are ready to get up to speed.
Drivers we talked to today say they will be plenty excited to see 45 turn into 70 mile-an-hour speed limits. But INDOT officials are also cautioning that there will still be some work going on.
After nearly 4 years of stop-and-go, single-lane, slow-moving traffic,
it's been a long time, that's for sure.
Hoosiers are on the verge of driving 70 miles an hour on I-69 between Martinsville and Bloomington.
I've been traveling this section since they started all the way to Evansville, and it's time.
It seems like it's been the ongoing project that's just never gotten done. So it'd be nice to see traffic moving once again.
INDOT spokesperson Scott Manning says work on the 21-mile stretch of interstate is substantially complete.
Now we're looking forward to very soon being able to remove the work zone speed limit restrictions that encompass the entire corridor right now and put the traditional interstate speed limits in place for the corridor.
Not that everyone obeys the work zone speed limit now. As we maintained 45 miles an hour, we were constantly passed or tailgated on our way to Bloomington, something state and local police will be watching for even after the 70-mile-an-hour signs go up. The speed limit will drop to 55 as you drive through Bloomington, and Manning says there will be isolated slowdowns as work crews finish drainage and sign work along the highway.
There may be a lane restriction in place, and there will be a work zone speed restriction in place, and there will be law enforcement watching.
Up next, Work will soon begin on Section 6 of I-69 from Martinsville to Indianapolis. INDOT expects to start working on local roads around State Road 37 in the spring, with mainline construction starting in 2020.
Now, INDOT doesn't know exactly which day the change will happen, but they do say it'll be within the next week that 45 will become 70 in many areas. Reporting on the road from Bloomington, Zach Myers, Fox 59 News.
All right, so who says Halloween is just for humans? No way. Furry friends dressed to impress at doggy daycare today. Close to 60 dogs got in the Halloween spirit at Indy Hound Daycare's costume contest. You could see it all from a Mack truck to Wonder Woman and even a slice of pizza. Aww. I wonder if they tried to eat that guy. Well, even Harry Potter took a break from spells to enjoy some treats. Voting started today on Indy Hound social media pages. You can check out a gallery of photos on our website, fox59.com. Wow. And we are expecting some rainy conditions tonight for trick-or-treating, but that can create some safety hazards.
Always. And we're going to have more on what you need to know to keep your children safe while they are out having a happy Halloween.
After nearly 30 years in the NFL, this running backs coach was about to call it quits. That's until the Colts came calling. The story that led Coach Tom Rathman to Indianapolis.
And coming up next at 6 o'clock, a quarter of Hoosiers here in central Indiana are struggling with medical debt. Chances are you know someone. Well, tonight, Fox 59's new project to help lift the burden off your shoulders. Building up to a bye week, the Colts' rushing attack accounted for 200 yards or more in back-to-back games. Pretty impressive.
This is something no other team in the NFL has yet to do. A franchise that has long suffered to establish an effective run game seems to be finally doing that with the help of running backs coach Tom Rathman.
Fox 59's Lara Overton actually shows us what lured Rathman to Indianapolis after a year away from the game.
Hey, you gotta stay down low. This time last year, Tom Rathman was enjoying his first season away from football after more than 3 decades in the NFL.
I was able to spend a lot of time with my wife and my kids. To be able to go into the city and learn about San Francisco. I'd been out there 30 years and really never got the opportunity to learn about the city.
Rathman spent decades within the 49ers organization, first as a player, then on 2 different coaching stints. And it was another fellow former Niner who was influential in bringing him to Indy.
At the time, Frank Gore was still here. I'd been talking to him the last couple of years, staying in touch with him, so he was telling me everything about Indianapolis.
This opportunity also allowed the longtime West Coaster to reunite with family.
My wife was born in Hartford City, which is just outside of Muncie, so she still has relatives here, so that is a good deal for us.
Leading up to the bye, the Colts racked up 200 rushing yards in back-to-back games for the first time since 1985. And the opportunity to develop this young contingent of backs was an exciting challenge for the veteran coach.
I still have a great passion for the game. Love to coach it, love to teach guys, develop them, and I got a great group right now.
That young group of backs with an average age under 24 brings great potential. And for the seasoned Rathman, the franchise's past is indicative of its future.
Look at the history of the organization. They've had success. They've won Super Bowls. They give you everything that you're looking for as far as, what you need to be successful.
From the Colts complex, Lara Overton, Fox 59 News.
Well, the Colts are on a bye week, as you know, so the team is off this weekend. Their next 3 games will be here at home. They play the Jacksonville Jaguars at Lucas Oil Stadium next Sunday, November 11th. Kickoff is set for 1 o'clock.
Well, on Halloween, we know it is all about the candy, costumes, and the fun, but safety should also be a top priority.
Yeah, we've got some tips for staying safe. And what actually one of the most dangerous nights of the year has now become.
Halloween is here, and you've probably already put the finishing touches on your jack-o'-lanterns, but if you haven't, we're going to show you NASA's pumpkins that are out of this world. Colts kicker Adam Vinatieri is setting another record. He just won his 18th AFC Special Teams Player of the Week award. That is the most by any kicker in NFL history. Keeps the history coming. The NFL's leading point scorer, passing kicker Morten Andersen. Vinatieri is the third Colts player to earn Player of the Week honors this year. The other two are linebacker Darius Leonard and safety Mike Mitchell.
Well, NASA is retiring its first planet-seeking telescope because it's simply out of gas. The Kepler Space Telescope launched 9 years ago and discovered more than 2,600 new planets. It also showed that up to 50% of the stars we see at night might be the centers of their own solar systems. That is just amazing to think about. The space agency launched a newer planet-seeking telescope called TESS. You may remember that happened in April. It's going to search 200,000 stars for orbiting planets.
Well, now it is time to check out what's trending on Fox59.com.
It is your top 3 for 5 right now, kicking off with number 3. NASA engineers creating some out-of-this-world pumpkins. Check this out. This was the 7th year for the contest at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Pasadena, California. The contestants took standard jack-o'-lanterns and they made them spin, they made them light up, even battle other pumpkins. All of the contestants had to create their entries on their own time. The prize for coming up with all of these gorgeous, get it, gorgeous, Brian's like whatever, displays just some good old-fashioned bragging rights today.
Well, at number 2, a bar in Austin, Texas is getting into the Halloween spirit. Nickel City is disguising itself as Moe's Tavern from the Simpsons TV show. There are realistic decorations both inside and out. The bar teamed up with local eateries to serve food from the show, including that Krusty Burger. Fans of The Simpsons have already given the tavern a thumbs up.
All right, number 1, the New York town of Huntington will be changing its name to Hauntington for every Halloween now. And this is all thanks to one creative thinking little 7-year-old. Angelica Cunningham wrote a handwritten letter to the town supervisor. She wrote, quote, "I think this October Huntington should officially be called Hauntington. This would be fun to say for me, my friends, and all the citizens of Huntington," she added. She signed the letter, "Sincerely, Angelica." The suggestion was approved at the town board meeting, as a matter of fact. Angelica was recognized in front of her fellow classmates by the town supervisor.
I like it.
She got it done.
Yeah, we got to find
Hauntington.
some of those those Halloween spooky spots tonight at 10. We'll take you around the nation.
Okay,
How about
good.
locally? Let's see. Terre
Fun.
Haute would be Terre Haunt.
Terre
right?
Haute.
I like that.
How about Muncie would turn into Munster?
Munster.
Munster.
Yeah. Well, there is Munster.
Yeah, we do
Indiana,
have one
too.
Munster.
Yeah, that's kind of scary too. Bloomington, I guess.
Bloomington.
Oh,
You're on a
quick.
roll.
Oh, I'm trying to think
I
of
can't
some-
think of not
I
a
don't know.
one.
Right, did you think of these earlier?
Well, a little bit.
Yeah.
But I was
Okay.
trying to come up with Indianapolis, and I can't come up with one. India's scary place. I don't know.
India's
No.
scary place.
We'll keep
work
working on it.
Yeah, we will. A little frightening out there with
Yes,
the winds
it
and the
is, yeah.
temperature drop. Not a bad Halloween. It really turned out to be fairly decent with the rains pulling out of the area and easing up. This certainly does set the scene here for a Halloween evening in central Indiana. It's damp, it's dreary, a little bit of drizzle in the air, but not much rain falling. The temperatures have certainly fallen to 53 degrees on a north wind. It's the wettest Halloween in 3 years. We picked up a 1/4 inch of rain, and right now, generally quiet on the radar. Any rain that's falling is very, very light. Seeing a few returns down in Bartholomew County. These are going to spread north again as the night progresses. The front that moved through the area will lower the temperatures, or already has, but also return with more rain. Damp and foggy 6, 7, and even 8 o'clock tonight. The showers will become more numerous as the temperatures that are in the lower 50s right now remain there rather steady. 53 in Kokomo, 50 in Crawfordsville. That's a far cry from where we were at yesterday, and for that matter, early this morning. It is the warmest Halloween when we reached 67 degrees around 5 o'clock in the morning since 2008, but we've been steadily declining as the front has moved through the area, and we've cooled by as much as 20 degrees compared to the same time yesterday. North winds are blowing right now, and to kind of keep in the theme, the Witch of November arrives tomorrow. That's a storm wind that's referred to as those powerful low pressures that develop during the November months, lash the ships that ride along the Great Lakes. similar to the one that sank the Edmund Fitzgerald in the 1970s, 1975. Well, those strong winds will accompany a storm system tomorrow. So kind of keeping with our Halloween theme, we've got the fog in the area. The rain will creep north, and our temperatures this afternoon are actually warmer than they were Halloween last year when the high was only 43 degrees. Now, that was one of the cooler ones on record, but this again is the warmest Halloween since 2008-71, and a good portion of our days, or at least our Halloweens, are spent in the 60s, so this one led to its normal, at least location, high temperature-wise, but it has dropped throughout the day, kind of living up to its billing. That's the storm system that will lash us with wind and rain later tonight. So much rain will fall that there have been flood watches hoisted in southeastern Indiana. Rainfall by midnight will start to increase, but it's by daybreak Thursday that the rain has become steady and heavy. In addition to the rain that has fallen, we could easily see another inch by daybreak, and some areas of south central Indiana may likely receive upwards of 2.5 to even as high as 3 inches of rain by early Friday morning. This is the area that may be targeted with some of the heavier rainfall. Bedford over 3 inches estimated by this computer run, but the general consensus here is that the heaviest rains that spread up from the south, moving north, will be falling over parts of southern Indiana and south central Indiana as well. So there are the rains that become much more numerous here overnight, and it looks to be an awfully wet morning commute. Our temperature tonight will hold steady in the mid-40s. It'll be damp, it'll be windy, it will be quite wet. In fact, tomorrow morning we'll start the day with moderate to heavy rainfall. Temperatures will hold steady in the 40s all day long, and a strong northeast wind that at times could gust over 35 miles per hour. There will be some improvement on Friday and Saturday entering the weekend, but that is an awfully spooky Halloween forecast and a rather chilling start to the month of November. And speaking of Halloween, Chief Meteorologist Chris Wright from our sister station CBS 4 and Weather Authority team is out live tonight doing a little trick-or-treating and handing out some candy. Chris, where are you at tonight? It looks awfully spooky.
Yeah, I'm here at the Governor's Mansion. The staff is dressed up in costume tonight. The theme is basketball, and we're going to have a great time tonight. We got some little basketballs going to be handing out to the kids. They have a little description on there, said Indiana Governor's Court, established 2018. So lots of fun will be had by the kids who stop by the mansion tonight here in the 4700 block of Meridian Street. We got a little bit of light rain out here right now, Brian, but as you talked about, the heaviest rainfall has now moved south of us, and I think we're going to pull out a pretty good evening. And these guys are in great spirits tonight to see the governor there in costume, so it's going to be a lot of fun. This is going to be the place tonight for all the trick-or-treaters here in central Indiana.
Any scary costumes yet come your way? Well, Chris, we were hoping maybe you could tell us in some of the spooky outfits that maybe have come your way, but it looks like someone's running around in shorts and a tank top in their Celtics
You know, it's going to be a
uniform.
great night of weather tonight. We've got the path laid out where the kids going to walk up from Meridian Street on to the mansion here, and the theme is basketball. You see everything represented from IU to Pacers to Franklin to the Indy Fuel, so a lot. To the Indiana Fever. So a lot of fun is going to be had by all the kids coming out tonight. Come on out to the Governor's Mansion. We'd love to see you.
Hey, Chris, thanks a lot again. We're looking at a little bit of drizzle out there and always a lot of fun at the Governor's Mansion tonight. Handing out some basketballs, huh? I guess that's the theme. We'll check back in with Chris a little bit later tonight. And again, our 7-day forecast looks to be an awfully wet and dreary one to start the month of November, but we will get back to some dry time for Saturday and Sunday.
Next at 6, new plans for bus stop safety after a tragic crash killed 3 children. What lawmakers want to see on all buses moving forward. Plus, new findings in the death investigation of an Indiana State graduate. How Turkish prosecutors say Jamal Khashoggi died.